We're aboard a 2021 Seafox 32. It's powered by twin Yamaha 425 horsepower motors. This boat's unique in the fact that it's got a traditional shifter where you're single lever controlling port and starboard engine. And in addition to that, it's got a really neat feature that most outboard manufacturers are utilizing this day, and it's that joystick configuration. And I know you've driven plenty of boats with the traditional, single lever controls. It's going to be very fun to kind of play with this joystick, and you be able to see some of the capabilities and why they are so popular. My first experience with them was that they were making a lot of movement back there. There was a lot of noise. There was a lot of water flying around. It was my inability to be a little bit more tender on the joystick. You still get that every once in a while, but the more you use it, the better you are with it. So we're going to have you operate this boat with the traditional lever, and then I'm going to have you engage the joystick and try the joystick. See where you go from there. So right now you're in neutral, and typical neutral position would be engines in the center when you're doing any maneuvering in tight quarters. If you're out on the water, you're away from the dock, you're utilizing the steering wheel. But having these trued up in center really gives you the allowance of propulsion and suction, that kind of that shoulder thing that we've spoken about before. Where that lever goes, the boat's gonna go, as long as they're in a neutral position. If one's like this and another one's like this, and you're just gonna be fighting it. And that's what the computer joystick is better at than humans are. So that's some of the technology that they've incorporated in it with it. But with it in zero rudder, go ahead and spin the boat if you'd like, just to get a feel for it. Without using the wheel, see? Yeah, so I take one in each hand, Gary, and just, square yourself up, and literally where that shoulder goes as you engage it, you'll see the boat's going to slowly move over to the port. If you engage the starboard one right now, and they're both in gear, it'll go straight on that trajectory. So you got a little bit of a starboard turn from that initial turn, so straighten them out completely. There you go. Now, without any environmental factors like wind, current, things that are never in our way, the boat would not be moving if there wasn't anything controlling it nature-wise, other than what you're giving it. Either propulsion is what I call in forward, and neutral would be a standstill of both engines, and then one in reverse and one in forward would be propulsion, and I call suction. So if you try that, take the port, leave it in forward, and then take the starboard and put it in reverse with a little bit of throttle, and the boat's literally going to start to turn. Go ahead and don't be afraid of it. It's not going to hurt it. There you go. Add a little bit of throttle now. See how the boat's turning? There's not very many people drive a tank or a tractor, but everything's about that belt drive concept. If you can get that around your head, you're going to be able to drive anything.
And then it's a lot easier with the joystick. It's a little bit different, probably. Not easier. It's a different type of experience.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's guys that can drive that joystick and run circles around me, as in reference to utilizing this shifter control, the regular shifter. I'm a lot more prepared for what it's going to do because my experience hasn't been super, I haven't had a whole lot of hours on that joysticks yet, but I'm getting there. And the more you use it, again, it's the better you become with it, just like you're doing right now. You're feeling out that if you didn't have rudder, how you could steer a vessel. Yeah, and I have lost steering on multiple boats, hydraulic line brakes, or get something bent on the rudder. As long as it's centered, we don't need it. We come home. I've done 80-mile trips on shifters alone. Buckets pulling you on one side and just creating some kind of a movement. The wheel, again, is utilized, in my opinion, when you're away from the dock, because if those engines aren't centered and you're trying to do that maneuvering skill, it'll work against you.
So in the wheel, okay, got it. So when you're close to the dock, you're pretty much hands-free on the wheel. You're just only using the fine movement of the...
Correct. Yeah. When you get down the line and you have a little bit more experience, doing it in this format, then adding some wheel to it can get you in and out of situations by accentuating that turn or that suction by pointing it in a certain direction, but that comes with a little bit of time. That's when you see that guy pull up to the dock and you're just like, how did he do that? It's him knowing the flow of the boat, having experience on that specific set of controls. In the past, most guys needed bow thrusters. This joystick enables you not to have a bow thruster. On the Yamaha head, as well as other manufacturers, they're going to tell you when you're in neutral by the illumination on that LED screen. Now, the joystick's inactive until you ask it to be active. There's a button there that says, I believe it says joystick. Press that, and now, like you're flying a helicopter, which I'm sure you've done a bunch of, very fine tuning. Just play with it. You're not going to hurt it.
Okay, this is cool.
Brings back some.
I feel like I'm in between an Atari system.
Yes. Yeah.
$400,000
Yeah. You're dating yourself. But yeah, it's you're probably a whole lot better off learning it than I was, because I was so used to doing it with the single lever controls that I almost personally fought it through my mind. And then when I got more comfortable with it, it made perfect sense.
So what movement where am I at now with this?
So right now it looks like you're almost in a sideways motion.
Fight the wind.
Yeah, you've got your environment creating flow this way. You've got chop, you've got wind, you probably have some inbound current. So the boat's natural posture is going to want to go to the port, pardon me. And by utilizing that joystick, you can kind of make the boat go sideways. And once you're in that, then twist and turn it, and you'll see how it reacts. See how you've got a little bit of forward momentum. Back the joystick back a little bit off of there you go, and then more sideways and back. There you go, just like that. Now you're going to be pretty much stationary, and until you get some momentum.
It's a pretty good amount of wind, and this thing is holding pretty steady where we're at.
But again, if you gave it some more throttle and a little more twist, you're going to be able to picture the boat. Right now it's kind of doing this. You want it to do this. So add a little bit of reverse and make it kind of go that way. Now you've got a little bit of reverse momentum. So you're losing your position. Now you've regained it, and you're utilizing your peripheral vision a tremendous amount of time, because it's actually going to give you the flow of what's actually happening. If you look at the water is going to confuse you because it's going by you. But the land is not moving. I mean, according to your movement is where you're going to get the best sense of where your direction's at, what you're doing, is by kind of using your. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
You just found the little sweet spot right there.
I feel like it's pretty easy to learn.
This is a really nice tool for someone who is open to learning the joystick kind of concept. The guys that are going to be coming off of single lever controls, again, like myself, I had a little bit tougher time adapting to it, but old school, I can't teach an old dog new tricks type of thing. So what I meant by giving it a little bit more of that throttle is you can make this thing literally go sideways as I'm feathering it. I mean, we're literally going sideways now. And it doesn't allow you, the joystick also doesn't allow you to overuse the throttle because it has parameters on it. So in some senses, it's safer to use this as a new boater in that respect, because you don't have the full body throw of the normal single lever control.
So when the conditions permit, the joystick is probably the first option for ease and for simplicity.
Yes, most people are going to want to utilize this joystick application when docking. So I mean, we're literally going sideways right now.
And what do these numbers represent?
These are your RPMs of each engine right now. That starboard engine's working a lot harder because it's pulling me this way. I've got it tuned that way. Okay. So one of the other neat features about this boat and this joystick system is there's a thing called skyhook. So if I wanted to stay right here, I don't have to touch the butt, I don't have to touch the joystick, I just press this button. And there's gonna be a lot going on back here, so be patient. It's GPS oriented, but now hands off, boat's supposed to stay right here.
So rock fishing, the thing's a weapon.
It's a weapon. Yeah. Or if you have to regain your thoughts after almost careening into somebody's boat, you can come out here and press the button and just go, now what do I do? But it's pretty spectacular how it takes GPS technology and utilizes the control systems via the motors, propulsion and suction, and it stays here. Yeah, it's a pretty neat tool for a boat.
It stays engaged until you tell it not to.
Correct. Yeah. So this is basically eliminating the need for an anchor if you want to stay in one spot, but as long as those engines are doing what they need to be doing. And you can see they're going through a huge process of moving and changing and doing all kinds of crazy stuff back there, but that's what they do. We're just kind of spinning because I'm only using propulsion and suction. And if I really want to make this turn quick, I can do this. Watch what happens. I mean, you sped it up twofold right there by turning the wheel in that direction.
Just give us a little extra.
Yep. But that's going to change every time when you've got conditions, more wind, more current. Sometimes you need less throttle, more throttle. So right now I'm still in a pendulum. I haven't moved forward or aft. I'm still doing a nice tight circle here. And I can tell by my peripheral vision. We're kind of sliding off a little bit down. That wind's kind of got us. So I'm going to take the reverse out and I'm going to let the forward take over. See how that just keeps you in spot. Once the wind catches me, I'm going to probably have to add a little bit of reverse to stay in this spot, which I am. Look how fast it's coming around. If I want to stay here, I got to turn a little bit of throttle up on this port engine in reverse. So
definitely a lot of practice.
Again, it's tons of practice.
So if someone was looking for a boat like this, they wanted to take them out, show them how to do this. This is normal what you do for your customers, right?
Correct. In order to really utilize and appreciate what you buy, you've got to be comfortable using it. And we want our customers being out on the water. We want our customers having their friends aboard the boats, showing their friends that they might be able to do it. Therefore, they're going to buy a boat. Just keeps everybody warm and fuzzy and happy. So, nothing like sending somebody on their way and they don't know what they're doing and they have bad experience so that they're out of the game. Every area's got different boat needs, like we talked about in the past, and every application that's a little bit different. We're going to go out and take this thing for a quick spin so you can see how fast it is.
Cool.
So, before I do a turn with an outboard, a shift, I always turn the outboards in that kind of direction, and then I'm waiting for the reaction right now. This is a tough one. Got a little bit of wind. I'm hoping the wind is going to blow a little bit more, believe it or not, because I'm getting pretty close to the seawall. If you look down, I got like maybe 2 feet of water right there. But I'm gonna square up these engines. Now I know where they're gonna go. For me, if I was better at the joystick, somebody could, bring it in here in a second with the joystick. I'm gonna bring it in here the way I feel safest. Yeah. So when we talked about these single lever controls, they're extremely sensitive. They have a D-dent, which is neutral, and as you press it forward, it goes into gear, and then all that movement from about an inch or two up forward is throttle. So right now, theoretically, if somebody bumps into this throttle head right now, this boat's gonna take off like the wind. So most manufacturers have a bypass, and it's called, on this unit, it is called throttle, free throttle. So basically, if you engage this button, now if somebody bumps into this thing, it doesn't go into gear, it only goes into revs, which is a safe situation. With that button not engaged, if somebody bumped into it, they're sending this boat through the parking lot.
So when would you use that? What's the situation?
Well, the moment I leave the helm after starting any boat, be it an inboard boat or an outboard boat, I don't know who's going to be excited and running by with the ice chest, or who's going to be running by and hit by accident looking at the beautiful boat and send the boat through the dock, and then the whole trip's ruined, amongst other things. So having that bypass is clutch. It's just a really good safety item.